Why is the Profoto Telezoom Reflector one of my favorite hard reflectors? Stick around to learn why and get 7 cool, simple lighting setups you can try as well. And if you thought this was sunlight, it's not. Stick around because there's levels to this. The Profoto Telezoom Reflector is in a category we like to call sports reflectors or long throw reflectors. Profoto has the telezoom, Broncolor has the narrow angle P45, Glow has the 45-degree long focus reflector, Elinchrom has a 48-degree high performance reflector, and Westcott has the 45-degree deep focus reflector. If you like the direct hard light of an old Hollywood Fresnel, you'll appreciate the quality of light from these as well. First, let me give you 7 lighting setups using the telezoom reflector before I get into the why. One of my favorite lighting setups is the telezoom almost directly overhead, giving us dramatic shadows on our model and giving enough spill on our white background to provide separation and this cool dark to light gradient. If you add in a fill light with a gel, here I'm using an Elinchrom 57-inch indirect with a steel green gel, you can get a cool tint to your background as well as a cool tint to your shadows as well with a little bit of fill. Here the telezoom gives us a very focused light similar to a focus Fresnel. Next, I added a piece of diffusion to the front of the telezoom. The Profoto Telezoom has the widest opening of all the sports reflectors, and thus when diffused and placed close to the model's face, it gives us this beautiful soft light, almost like a mini softbox. When placed overhead, it gives us this beautiful beauty dish type of light with less wrapping, and you get great fall off on the background as well. But then I placed it to the side of our model and used a matte silver or dull gray show card. Usually I use these to control the tone of a reflection when shooting still life, but here, since our model has blonde hair, it gives me a very subtle fill just so that her hair doesn't get lost. For the next 2 lighting setups, I'm going to have the light behind our model. Working with the telezoom in many ways is like working with a shaft of sunlight, and it is easy to bounce and shape in order to get the look of multiple light sources from one light. Here I have it bouncing over our model's head and back into a mirror, getting these hard reflections bouncing back onto our model. And then I bring in a shiny silver show card, which is a bit more diffused. And if you are working in tight spaces, both these techniques work well just by having your model sit on the floor. Next is my favorite setup of the whole shoot, and that's taking this room from this to this. By placing a telezoom reflector outside, up high, and aimed through the windows. So yes, the sunlight is beautiful, but I was able to shoot this whole series without having to worry about the light changing and having to keep moving the model around chasing the light. This can be fun when you're testing, but if this was an advertising shoot, it's a way of not losing the light between wardrobe changes or if a client wants to review images. So why do I love this style of reflector so much? Well, first, it's control. Its narrow beam angle allows me to control spill and use the spill to my advantage. For example, in this shot of our model with the telezoom behind her, I am skimming the edge of the light past her, giving her a rim light. And then the sweet spot is hitting the reflector, so now my reflectors don't simply just look like they are a fill, but like they are actually a key light source. And I love the very gradual edge fall off, similar to a tightly focused Fresnel. For me, a light meter is very important here because I'm able to measure how much light I'm getting at the edge of the light where it is falling off and making sure the reflector is getting the sweet spot. Why do I prefer the telezoom in this scenario? Due to its ability to zoom, it's going to give me more control over the angle so I don't need to move it when working in tight spaces for small adjustments. Here, I set up a test using a V-flat with the edge near the outer edge of the reflector. And then it's angled so the center of the light is aligned with the seam of the V-flat. Now as I zoom it through the zoom range, you are able to see the range of variations I am able to get using the Profoto Telezoom Reflector. The Broncolor Pulso G-heads also have a zoom function as well, which gives you slight variability with their narrow angle P45 reflector. Another reason I love this style of reflector is the increased power output they give me. It's a great way to get an extra 2 stops out of most lights. This is key when you want to overpower the sun or get maximum flash durations without sacrificing output. Now for the shot that I'm doing outside, I could just use a normal reflector or a bare bulb, but using the Telezoom gives me more power, a little bit more punch. Therefore, I'm able to get more depth of field if I want it. I'm still able to work at lower ISOs and get better control over the ambient light that's in the room. Plus, these reflectors are amazing if you're doing a combined video and still shoot because they offer so much output even from low-powered modeling lights. So why do I choose the Profoto Telezoom Reflector? In most cases, hard reflectors do not have an interchangeable mount like a molar reflector, and Profoto is not my only but primary lighting kit. I also like that it fits within a family with 2 other of my favorite reflectors, both the Profoto Magnum and Profoto Narrow Beam Reflector. They all nest within each other, making them easy to travel with, and they share the same grid. It is the largest at 13 inches and also the deepest. I like that I can add diffusion and it becomes a beautiful mini softbox. And most importantly, it zooms, giving me variability in the beam angle. The zooming is invaluable when working in tight spaces and getting a nuance to your lighting. But let's not leave out other brands. Although your choice will be limited to your light mount in many cases, there is always the option to rent. The Broncolor is built like a tank and is less prone to dents and accidentally bending. It's also one of the rare reflectors in this category with 3 grid sizes available. So it is best if you want tighter beam angle options. The Westcott presents unparalleled value. It has a Bowens mount and comes with a diffuser and a 15 and 30 degree grid for under $100 at the time this video was recorded. You can find links to all of them in the description below. And the day after this shoot, I still had access to this office location under renovation, so I took out an Elinchrom 5 and a high performance reflector and replicated another sunset. You could even do this with a speed light if the ambient light was low enough. Why would I spend close to $900 on a light shaper when there are others that could present a greater value? Well, I buy my lights around the light shapers. Light shapers are like lenses to me. I've built muscle memory around the light shapers I use, which saves me time on set and allows me to more easily know what equipment I'll need ahead of a shoot. And if it makes my photography 1% better, the price is worth it. I've used the Profoto Telezoom Reflector on multiple videos on this channel, and you can see them in my playlist linked below. And if you want to know what my favorite soft light shaper is and get some cool lighting setups with it, then put soft light no matter what in the comments below. After 20 years, I've learned to chase the things that make me 1% better. Because as you know, there's levels to this.